Nowadays, people are reminiscing about this game called Asura's Wrath, and they are loving it. Even though back when it came out in 2012, it did not sell well at all. But now people are saying it's a timeless classic, and I mean, just look at these cinematics. And these are the boring parts. But if the game's so good, why did it sell so poorly and get mixed receptions by reviewers at the time? Is Asura's Wrath a timeless classic? Well, what is the game about? Well, it's about Asura. And his wrath. The title of the game is called, it's about Wrath, about Asura and his wrath. It's an action game, but not a good one at that. There are only two attacks, regular and heavy attacks. You can't spam heavy attacks as it has a cooldown, so you're mostly going to be using the regular attacks. There is a secret third attack that they don't want you to know about, with range attacks. But it's easier to punch enemies even in the air than it is to stop moving and start shooting. There are on-rail segments where you don't have a choice but to use the range attacks, which, you know, it makes sense. But with all of these attack options, there are no combos in the game. A good action game like Devil May Cry has combos for you to do to keep the game, you know, interesting. But not here. There's only one combo, and that is spamming the B button. That's really it. Just spam the B button until every enemy on the screen has been defeated. Even in boss fights, you're just spamming the B button until your rage gauge is filled, then the game becomes QuickTime events. The game. And I mean, there are a lot of QuickTime events. It doesn't matter at all if you actually hit them or not. They're just there to make sure you're paying attention. The gameplay is probably the worst part about this game because of how short and repetitive it is. The actual beat 'em up sections, you know, the game part about this game, only lasts for 5 to 10 minutes at a time. Then it's hours worth of cutscenes. By the third level, you begin to sense this pattern of do QuickTime events, spam the B button for 5 minutes, and then go right back to QuickTime events. Hey man, good job on spamming the B button. Here's your reward. That was the greatest thing I've ever seen. I know, right? As I said, there are hours of cutscenes in this game to tell you its story, and it is truly what carries this game. It does play out kind of weird though. They treat each level as if it was an episode of an anime, with credits in the beginning, commercial bumpers, and a to be continued at the end. Doesn't take anything away from the game, it's just kinda weird is all. Immediately, you start in the middle of a battle against the Goma. What are the Goma? They're the embodiment of people's hatred towards the demigods. But for some reason, they manifest as animals like monkeys and elephants. Nah, I never trusted those elephants. And you're on thin ice! I am then introduced to the 8 generals, who are obviously going to be the bosses of this game, so I'll introduce them later. Asura is able to become so angry that he can grow 4 arms to help him punch better, and he's able to subdue the big bad guy, Viltra, who is just the boss of the Goma. With the time of peace obtained, Asura goes back to his wife and daughter, who is the priestess. This is important because she can control and amplify Matra. Then the Emperor calls for Asura, but a sinister plot is brewing as he's already been killed and Asura was framed for his death. This was all part of the other 7 generals' plans to stop Viltra once and for all by kidnapping Mithra to use her Matra controlling powers to make them stronger and killing Asura. And also his wife. Because why not? Luckily, a golden spider, who is very important to the story, but I will not mention him again for quite a while, so just remember him, tells me that I can come back to life by simply climbing this pillar. But somehow Asura has amnesia and gets a flashback to when his master August was training him.
Not bad! I never said stop! 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 Not bad! I never said stop! I never said stop!
Alright, I defeated all of the Goma.
I never said stop. I never said stop.
What do you want me to do with the bodies? Asura gets revived 12,000 years later and everything has changed. All of the generals are now deities. And also they kill humans, but only because it's faster and easier to get mantra from them that way. They do still see Asura as a traitor, so Wizen tries to kill him and fails. So he becomes a giant and attempts to crush Asura. I wish that was me.
Huh?
What? After being sat on, Asura gets his 6-armed form back and punches Wizen so hard it almost pierces his body and launches him into space. So Wizen just becomes bigger and tries to crush Asura with his finger. And what does Asura do? He punches his finger so hard, destroying his own arms in the process. He makes Wizen explode. Naturally, the deities still want Asura dead, and with no arms, how can he even fight? Well, he just uses his legs. His anger knows no bounds. But Yasha, who is Mithra's uncle and therefore Asura's brother-in-law, is able to kill Asura again. And when he is revived, again, 500 years have passed, and he finds a little girl who looks exactly like his daughter, Mithra. She is very important. Naturally, the Goma start attacking the village, and a turtle Goma? I knew I couldn't trust you. Another one of the 7 deities appears, Calro, and he starts killing humans. You know, as they do, and Asura doesn't like that very much. So in order to get to the fleet of ships in the air, he punches the ground so hard, he launches himself up to the ships. I'm glad to know that Asura completely understands Newton's third law. Asura destroys every ship in his path. So Calro tries to escape, but ends up being crushed to death. Now it's August's turn, and he doesn't immediately fight Asura. Instead, they just take a hot spring bath together. And that's literally the whole level. It's just 2 men taking a hot spring bath together.
So, why are you stalking them?
That's none of your business. Now they're ready to fight. So they go to the moon. It is not shown how or why really they went to the moon though. It is an intense fight between master and student, and they're evenly matched. But Asura is able to put August into a corner, forcing him to draw his blade.
How could I have been so foolish? Go gadget extendo blade. Go, what?
That's literally what happens. His blade extends, pinning Asura to the earth, and the blade comes out on the other side. It is ridiculous. And how does Asura beat him? He breaks his blade at the last moment, losing all of his arms. Again, and with the sword in mouth, he cuts August in half. Absolute cinema. This is the best fight in the game. Everything they did here was just perfect. The deities are still killing humans, but Olga made the mistake of bombing the city that the little girl who looked like Mithra was in, killing her and sending Asura on a rage-fueled berserk mode. He becomes immensely powerful. I mean, destroying an entire fleet. Just like that. Nothing can stop him in this mode. So they try to blast him, and Yasha gains a heart and saves Asura's life. Now Yasha tries to free Asura from this berserk mode before it kills him. Also, Asura kills another deity, Sergi. He's not really that important, but he did kill Asura's wife, and it's just a general dick. It is a tough fight, but Yasha is able to just punch the berserk mode straight off of Asura. Grizzly. You're a polar bear? Oh god. Once Asura regains consciousness, he has his eyes set on the leader of the deities, Deus. He makes it to him, and Yasha had the exact same plan, so they both fight Deus. They start winning, so Deus, being the sore loser that he is, combines with the Calmer Fortress, so they fight him. Again. At least this time, they succeed in defeating him, but Viltra is back. Asura and Yasha begin fighting him, but they are no match. So, with Mithra's help, Asura achieves Mantra mode. Now he's able to face the embodiment of evil, and it's a very flashy fight. With Yasha and Asura landing a punch together, defeating Viltra for good, and everyone survived. But wait! There's more. That wasn't the real ending. There is a secret, true ending that you can unlock by getting S rank on 5 different levels. Naturally, I just had to get the true ending. What sucks though is that you have to replay the entirety of episode 18 again. You can't just skip to the end. But Viltra is defeated again and Olga shows up. I completely forgot that I did not kill her yet. Then the golden spider, who I mentioned only once in the beginning, gruesomely kills her and uses Mithra as a vessel, making her blonde, and the game just ends. But wait, there's no more. That's how the game ends. What kind of an ending was that? Where's the ending? Well, even though they told me that that was the true ending, that's actually not the ending at all. there is an actual ending to this game. But they lock it behind a paywall! Whose idea was this? When I buy a game, I expect to get the whole game. But Asura's Wrath just decided that it hates its customers and only gave them 3/4 of a game, just as a quick screw you. You can trust me when I say that no one liked this. Everyone was upset by this decision. This game was adequate. I was going to give it a fair review as one of the greatest and most visually appealing stories I've ever seen in a video game. But once I learned that I needed to buy the ending, it left such a sour taste in my mouth that I hate this game. What is the worst part about all of this is that the game was released for $60 back when it first came out. So for the entire game, you would need to spend $67 back then. $70 for a base game is common nowadays, and don't get me wrong, I hate that. But almost $70 for a base game back in 2012 is unheard of. So the game is a lot cheaper nowadays, so I did end up buying the ending. And I'm just going to tell you what happens in it, so that you don't need to waste your money, like I did. Immediately, we pick up where we left off with Asura defeating Viltra, Mithra being blonde, and Olga being dead. The spider claims that Asura has passed his trial and reveals himself as Chakravartin, the creator of this world. Like the actual creator of this world. He wants Asura to become the god of this world, but Asura blames him for everything because had it not been for him creating the universe, Mithra wouldn't have gotten kidnapped. So he starts to fight the creator of the universe, which goes very unwell for Asura. Even Berserk mode is no match and Chakravartin almost kills him, but Yasha is able to save his life by giving him the matcha reactor, which is just powerful, and for some reason, he gives him his own reactor as well, so that he wakes up. What the?
Oh good, you're finally awake. That was a close one back there.
Grizzly, what is this?
Oh, that's my heart.
Ew. Yasha and Asura fight each other one more time because, I don't know, to get Asura in a fighting mood or something. And they have a bonding moment as Asura realizes that Yasha sacrificed himself to save him. It's time to finally face Chakravartin. And Asura achieves his final form of Asura, the Destructor. Asura flies to Chakravartin, dodging planets and suns until he makes it to the event horizon. Chakravartin once again praises Asura and wants him to become the god of this world, even giving him back his daughter. All he has to do is extend his arm, and so he does. Right into his face. So now another fight ensues, and man, this fight is amazing to watch. But Asura wins, and Chakravartin, being the sore loser that he is, takes on his creator form to erase Asura from all of existence. And somehow, Asura is still able to keep up with him. The final part of the fight is amazing as Chakravartin gets his own QuickTime events, which was very amusing. And with one more hard punch, Asura kills the creator of the universe. But now all of Matra is gone, so Asura ceases to exist. But Mithra gets to live on with the humans on Earth and pass down her father's story. I hate that it was a satisfying ending. I also hate that I had to buy it. But looking past that, how was the game itself? It's one of the worst games I've ever played. But it's one of the best TV series I've ever watched. The game is just cutscenes. It doesn't help that each level is called an episode and it even has commercial bumpers. Yeah, the cutscenes are full of QuickTime events, but what do they add? They're supposed to make you feel like you landed the punch, making it more impactful, and it does. It felt amazing watching Asura destroy gigantic creatures and thinking that I had some kind of input. It's just annoying with how many QuickTime events there are. They do play around with the QuickTime events at the end, with Chakravartin having his own buttons, as well as at the end of the Yasha fight. The QuickTime event is in slow motion with the rest of the scene and actually stops before you can hit it once Asura realizes that Yasha sacrificed himself. But these are the only instances where they made the QuickTime events creative and fun. The rest are just dull. Not to mention, every action just needs a QuickTime event. Oh, whoa! But how about the actual gameplay? You know, when I'm actually using the controller, it's boring and repetitive. Like I said before, there's no combos in the game other than mashing the B button. Action games rely on different combos to make the game not feel repetitive and make the player feel powerful as they pull off a complex combo. But this game is just so mindless. Most of the time, you don't need to dodge or anything. You could just keep hitting the B button until your burst gauge is full. Even the boss fights were still mindless, except for the final Chocovartin fight, where I actually needed to start dodging his attacks. The game is also a big nothing burger. I was skipping hours of gameplay to talk about the next plot point because it's just fighting hordes of Goma. So the gameplay isn't that special, but the story and the cinematics hard carry this game. Everything in this game is perfect. The characters, the environments, etc. A lot of the characters don't really grow much as the game goes along, but Asura has some amazing character development. I love Asura so much. He's just fueled by anger, but he has a deep love for his daughter and will do anything to protect her. Asura and Yasha are always fighting each other, but they've always loved each other as brothers, and they don't acknowledge that until Yasha sacrifices himself to save Asura. All of the characters are also beautifully voice acted. The game looks unique. I love the textures as it gives this game its own art style, and of course there's so much action in this game that it brings a tear to my eye. It is actually difficult to make a good action scene when the choreography needs to be good, and it's surprisingly difficult to make an explosion look good. But the animators did a phenomenal job making this game, and the music was grand. It has such cinematic music for such a cinematic game. This honestly should have just been an anime, or if not, release a complete edition with the DLC included. But if you still want to experience Asura's Wrath, just search up the cutscenes on YouTube. Believe me, you'll get the same experience. But I'm glad we were able to make up, Mr. Turtle.
Goma!
Asura, no! Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like what you saw, you should hit that subscribe button. I would like to thank all of my Patreons, and you should check out another one of my videos. They're pretty good.